Hey, well, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. I want to take the time to just show you around some of the new features that were in this latest PROtrade release. Just as a reminder, as far as the version that we're on, this latest version is 4.4.2.1252. So you want to be up on that latest version. And just want to take a few moments and review some of these different features and things that we've added in for this latest release of PROtrade. And many of these center around the idea of hotkeys. So just a quick reminder about hotkeys. If we come up to the File menu and Settings, over here in the hotkeys area on the top, there's a tab for that. And here are the different hotkeys that you can set up. And so just for clarification, for those of you who may not be familiar with hotkeys, the idea is that you can use keyboard shortcuts. So as you can see here in these different options, Control W, Control N, F5. So these would be key strokes that you can use on your keyboard to activate tools and actions in the software much quicker. So that way, as you are using the software, especially if it's something that you're using the software each day, every day, all day, so you have opportunity to become very familiar with it, then learning to use those hotkeys can be very important. It makes you much, much faster in being able to accomplish what's before you. So several of the features that we've added in today are surrounded hotkeys and things that we've added in, but they also relate to features that maybe you weren't even aware of to begin with. So you might learn something from the standpoint of hotkeys. You also might learn something from the standpoint of that there's a feature that you just even weren't aware of. So to start with, I'm going to speaking in the realms of hotkeys. I'm going to come over here to this page over here. The first one relates to align segment to point. So one of the features in this software is I can actually right-click on an align segment and choose to align a segment to a point. And when I do, it's going to stretch that line out or shorten it depending on where I click. So I'm going to come out here because I wanted to extend this far. And you can see that line adjusts that way. Same with if I was to click backward here, it's going to shorten it to that particular point. So there's a hotkey for this as well. And you can set that up using the hotkeys menu I was just showing you. But if I select line, use the hotkey for align segment to point, happens to be Control W on my system, then I'm automatically in that command. So without having to navigate into that menu, I can quickly put lines where I want them to be. In this latest release, you can actually select multiple lines like I've done here, hit that hotkey, and you can actually extend them both at the same time. So this can make cleanup work, or if you're just trying to be a little bit more precise on where things were at, you can quickly align things where they belong and get the appropriate linear footages and lengths that are there. Going over to the idea of containers, I'm going to come over here to this floor coverings page. One of the things that you can do is to align the edge of a container to point. So it's kind of similar to that what we just were reviewing there with the align segment to point, except in this case, it's the container edge. So for example, if this container edge was over here, I could select this point and choose, again, align container section to point. We also have a hotkey now for that in this latest version. So if I activate the hotkey for aligning segment to point, now I can just say I want this to click over to that spot, and it's going to extend that container edge to that area. Now I'm going to come over here to this, and so another feature that's possible to do in Trade, again, maybe something that you're not familiar with, is you can add an edge to an area to collect the perimeter or the linear footage around the outside. So here we've got a carpeted area, and maybe we wanted to get the total linear footage of carpet tack that might be needed around the perimeter of the area or the perimeter of the room. So I can right click on it and I can choose to add edge. And now I get this edge around the outside. I could rename that as carpet tack if I wanted. Could also add a specific product like a 4-foot length of piece or add that to my database. But I've got my carpet tack here. But now obviously I've got other items in here as well, some other walls that would also need some carpet tack around them. So I'm going to right click on it and I can choose to draw more edge segments like this. Or I can also use the hotkey for that. So that's Control D. So that's new in this version, to be able to activate that command by the hotkey. But I'm going to do Control D. And now what I can do is I can actually continue to draw more of that carpet tack. You can see my carpet tack values are increasing over here as I draw. And I can trace around the area where I need some of that additional lineal footage to be counted in those specific areas. So again, it's something that's easy to add on, something to get your linear footages up to where you need them to be when you're trying to collect different perimeters around different areas of rooms. So again, that Control D hotkey is available. And now more products. I'm going to come over here to the citing page, and here we've got a lot of different products. And let's say that I wanted to change the product for a particular item. Now, normally, if you're a regular user of the software, you know that if you right-click on it, you can then come here to the product. And if it's in the product shortlist, you can pick it from here, or you might go to more products. If you've set up your products in your My Products database, and hopefully you have, for the products that you're using on a regular basis. If you're not familiar with that, I would encourage you to check out the database tab over here and get your products set up. That will, again, be a great time saver for you. But you would normally come here to product, more products, and this product window would open where you could access all the different products that you wanted to select. But now in this latest version, we've given you the ability to just go straight through to that menu with a hotkey. That's Control M. And then I just pick that product picker right up, and so I can click right exactly to where I want to be, make the change for that particular item. Click OK, and I'm done. So again, that hotkey is Control M to select the item that you want, Control M, and you can hop right in there and get to that particular menu. Similarly, if I was over here on, let's say, the floor coverings page, I could even select multiple areas at once. So I can get this area and this area and this area and this area, hit that Control M key, and oh, I have too many selected, I guess. But if I am sharing the same application, so like those two areas, I can do Control M and I can get right into that product picker to make the change that I need. So coming back over to the citing page, another feature, so outside of the realm of hotkeys, a couple other things that we've added in here. One relates to light bulb controls. So if you wanted to be able to more quickly turn off certain things on the page. So for example, let's say that I just wanted the trim to be showing on the page here. So I've got a bunch of trim items, but then I've got a bunch of other stuff, and I can click all these individual light bulbs, or just using the Shift key, I can select all these, and then I can right click now on the master light bulb and choose turn selected items off or on. Or I could select these right here, and I could say, I want to turn all these off. You know, and so now I can see just the trim items, so it makes it easier to work on. So again, the way that you would do that is you can select as many as you want using the Shift or Control key in the takeoff items list, and then simply right click and choose whether you want to turn the selected items off or turn the selected items on. And then finally, another feature that we've added in this version relates to labels. Again, you can control labels. You can have different length labels show up for your items. You would do that over in the database tab in your My Products and My Applications section. So I encourage you to do that if you want to be able to see lengths of things that you've drawn and just have more clarity of what's going on. But if you need to ever toggle those on and off, we've added a hide and show labels button over here in the takeoff items list. So as I click it, they go away. If I click it again, they come back. So those are there and available. Just as we finish up here, just want to point out just a couple of other features that though they're not new in this release, again, things that maybe you weren't fully aware of, so just want to draw them to your attention. I'm going to come over to this floor coverings page and delete this subtract section. And so just a reminder about we have a box subtract tool that's here for areas. And so you can see here we've got a kitchen island and some kitchen countertops and things that are in this area. And perhaps the tile that's being called for this area is going in after all those are installed, and you don't necessarily need to put tile back in those areas. So you can cut those out easily just by choosing subtract box section. You can use a subtract section, but the box section often makes it even faster. I can just click one corner and click the other corner, and I've got those cut out. So I could repeat that same thing here, leave myself a little bit of overlap, and here I can just cut out all of those areas. So just with a couple of simple clicks, I'm getting all those additional areas cut out for me to account for that areas of the floor that don't really actually need tile. And then finally, arcs, the ability to draw an arc or a curved type of line in the plan. Let's come over here to see our drywall page, I think it was. So here we've got a tub. I'm going to turn this off here so we can see this tub better. So if I'm going to come up here to our linear line, and I'm going to draw in some linear lines here around this tub, and we're going to be able to turn these linear lines into some arcs so that they can follow the exact perimeter of the tub itself. So here I'm going to go and right click on this line, on what's the line segment. So you can see here I have this option for line, and I can change it to an arc. So I'm going to repeat that process just real quickly here on these different lines. So I'll get all these in, and then once I have those in, you can see that they're starting to come together. So I'm going to come to these lines, and now I have an additional control point here where I can pull this in to where that arc is supposed to be flowing through. So drop that into that location, and I can pull this down over in here and pull the control point down over in here, and that's, now you can start to see how this takes shape. So now I can have, I can know very closely what the perimeter is of that tub without having to click a bunch of points to make that a curved line. So that could be used, here's is a very small example, but you could set something up similar for if you had a curved balcony or just even a curved wall in a house and you were trying to cut around that. So that's the method in which you would be able to use curved lines. You would use the linear tool up here, and then you would right click on that item and set the segment type. Instead of it being line, which is the default, you can set it to the arc. Well, thanks for joining us, and hope that you find some of these new features useful, or perhaps it was a good reminder of some of the features that are there to make you more effective in your takeoff process. And again, if you have any questions about how some of these features or any of the features that work, please don't hesitate to give us a call at our support line or email us at support@prebuiltml.com, or join us on our chat service at prebuiltml.com, and we're happy to help you and get you further along down the path. Thanks again, and you have a good afternoon.